Welcome back to this week's episode of Unlocked. I am really excited for today's episode because we have something in common. So welcome, Allie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? So Allie Maino, previously...
Fedotowsky.
Yeah, I knew I was going to butcher it, so I'm letting you do it.
Yeah, I'm going to go right in, yeah.
So you were on The Bachelor, then you were Bachelorette.
Yes,
and
years ago.
That before that, you were not in the public eye at all.
Oh gosh, no. I worked at Facebook before that.
That is awesome. And what was your role there?
I was an account exec for brands. So it's funny because I worked for companies and brands on Facebook, and now I still work for companies and brands on Facebook, but just as an influencer. So it's like I still do the same job, just differently.
Isn't it funny how it kind of comes full circle in a really odd way? So how was that experience? Just
The Bachelor, Bachelorette?
Yes, that franchise.
I mean, being a part of that franchise is so cool. Like, it's arguably one of the most popular reality shows of all time, you know, historic. So I feel like to be part of it is amazing and surreal at the same time. I still can't believe it. Even though it's odd. It's it's been part of my life for so long now. But loved doing The Bachelor. Loved being a contestant. Hated being The Bachelorette.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it was the worst.
Because how long do you have to fall in love with someone and get engaged?
It's 2.5, 3 months. And I should say it's the worst, but you know what I mean. It was just put it this way. When I got on the show, I right away realized I didn't really like anybody very much. And I wasn't super attracted to anybody except for maybe 1-2 people. But you still have to date everybody the whole time. Yeah. And then the producers are like, oh, if you don't kiss this guy, he's going to know you don't like him. And then you're going to be the Bachelorette everybody left. And so you feel pressure to kiss guys that maybe you're not into and then go on all these dates. And it was just, I did not care for it.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's no way I could do that. No way. But you did end up engaged.
Yes, I did. I got engaged to a guy named Roberto. We were together for 1.5 years. We lived in San Diego. But it was a tumultuous time for us and didn't work out. But, I left the engagement, but I kept the ring.
So do you get to keep the ring?
You're not supposed to. So I think in the contract, I can't remember verbatim, but it's something you have to be together over 2 years to be able to keep the ring. Okay. At least that's what it was back when I did it. And we were only together for 18 months, 1.5 years. But I was so mad. I'm I've put everything, this is my ring. You guys can't have it. So I refused to give it back. And they never came after it. So
so where is the ring now? What happened?
The ring got sold back to the ring maker.
That is amazing. You might as well do something with your heartbreak, your turmoil.
I know. I was you guys, put me through all of this. No, I'm so grateful for my experience on the show.
It gave you a following, but you can still be this wasn't for me.
I'm I know how much money you guys make off this show. I can keep that ring.
Exactly.
Because at the time I wasn't planning on selling it. At the time it meant something to me. And then years later I'm I don't need this.
No, yeah, I don't need this. Let me go buy something I want.
Exactly.
With the money. So that was an interesting time of your life. And then you didn't do any of the other shows of
Bachelor in Paradise or no. First, I don't even know. Was Bachelor in Paradise even a thing back then?
I don't even think it was.
I don't think it was either, but there was something. Bachelor Pad.
Yes.
That's what it was. I had zero interest in that. That was too scandalous for me. And I had, that was just not my thing. And then I think by the time Bachelor Pad came around, I had met my soon-to-be husband, and I just wasn't interested in that.
And so how did you two meet?
People always say to me, now do you realize you can't find love on TV? And I'm well, actually, I met my husband on a TV show. So after The Bachelorette, I hosted a travel show on NBC called First Look. So it was a late night travel show that aired after SNL.
Okay.
And I did that for 1.5 years. And my husband and I, the producer for that show, is best friends with my husband. And he invited him to co-host a show with me. And that's how I met him. So
that is insane.
I found love on TV.
That is awesome. Just in a different, I said, everything comes full circle. So you guys met, you dated, was it 2 years? and got engaged?
Yeah, I think it was about 2 years.
Or got married? You got married in 2015, right?
Yeah, oh gosh, I have no idea. Good for you for doing your research because I have no idea. But yes, we got engaged. Then as soon as we got engaged, we decided we wanted to get pregnant, but we didn't want to wait for a wedding. So then we started trying for a baby. Had my daughter first, then had the wedding. Yeah.
Wow.
I was getting old. I didn't want to, older.
How old were you?
I feel like maybe I had her, gosh, maybe right before 30 or right after 30, 31 maybe.
Okay.
I'm not really old. I mean,
No,
people have
you're
babies on
not.
their, no, not at all. But at the time, in my head, I was like, yes, I could wait, plan this wedding for a year and then try to get pregnant. Who knows how that long that's going to take. I could be in my I just wanted, to me, I really wanted kids. So one day, I remember exactly, it was 4th of July and we were engaged and we were at our house swimming in the pool in the backyard and we were trying to invite friends over to come hang out with us on July 4th, have a party, and nobody would come over. We couldn't get our friends to come over, and we're like, let's just make our own friends. And we're like, we're old enough. Everyone's doing their own thing. You want to have a baby? He's like, let's have a baby.
Stop it. Yeah. That is hilarious.
So we made our own friends. Now we have 2 friends, Molly and Riley. My daughter Molly, my son Riley.
I cannot wait for you to tell your kids that story one day.
Yeah, that's the story.
That hey, we wanted to make our own friends. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
And so now you live in Nashville. Mm-hmm. So you guys just lived in California, lived all over.
Yeah.
And then moved to Nashville. Mm-hmm. And how have you liked it?
It's been great. We love Nashville. We have so many good friends and the communities and sometimes I drive around, especially in the fall or something, and look at the trees and I'm like, it's so beautiful here. I do struggle with allergies pretty bad. So that is something that is making me maybe not love it as much as I could love it because the allergies here are insane.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely insane. They do say though, if you have local honey every morning.
I do.
That is crazy.
I'm telling you, I have... Because my allergies are so bad, I post to everybody out there, and anybody listening, please tell me if you know anything.
Tips?
DM me, tell me all the things. I'm constantly tell me everything. I have thrown so much money at this allergy problem. I've done everything from chiropractors, acupuncture, lymphatic massages. I'm actually getting a lymphatic facial massage, which is different than a full body one. This weekend to see if that helps. I have red light therapy, saunas. I have been to multiple ENTs. I'm on allergy drops. I do local honey. I have these machines. I do the sinus flush. It's everything. I could go down the list. If anyone has any advice for me, please message me.
You've tried just about everything.
Everything except for surgery, to fix my deviated septum. That's the next step.
Well, so maybe. Who knows? Maybe that will be the thing that fixes it.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, we moved here because we were living in LA and my husband, we were both working in the entertainment industry. My husband's a radio host. I was I worked in television on Hallmark Channel up until the day we left LA. And then I said to my agent, I'm done. I don't want to work in Hollywood anymore. I'm done with the industry. I want to move to Nashville with my family. I want to have a quiet little life. And that's what we did. And
so what made you make that decision of all right, I'm done with TV?
There's a lot of bullying in the entertainment industry, and I don't think people see it. It's
very cutthroat.
It's very cutthroat, and I just felt in a lot of different circumstances, just a lot of hate and if I got a job over somebody else, I don't know. I did not care for all of that. I also really didn't care for the going to an event and you'd be you and I would be talking, or not you, I'm not going to, somebody else. And the person would be looking over your shoulder to see who else walked in the door.
So
and I was just
best thing.
I'm so over this. I'm so tired of it. I really wanted to get that out of my life. But then I realized when we move, I'm that kind of exists everywhere, but just in a different way.
Exactly. You're going to run into it no matter whether it's moms at school or just anywhere, really.
Yes. There's always a social hierarchy in any circle. And then you see people ladder climbing or, I've noticed in other places, it's like, oh, who do you know that can get me into that school or get me into that? I mean, this is going to sound super bougie, but I'm going to say it, like into that country club. Like, oh, how can I be nice? It exists other places, just in a different way.
Yeah, it's about figuring out how to deal with it the best way. That's why I'm like, I stick to myself.
Yeah.
It's better that way. Mm-hmm. And so you like swore off TV.
Yes.
And then Special Forces came your way.
Yes.
So tell us how that happened.
So my agent called me. I was sitting, gosh, I'm going to sound like a real lady who lunches. I was playing Mahjong with my girlfriends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my TV agent is calling me, and I never hear from her. Like, I have an endorsement agent and a TV agent. And so I take the call and I step outside. I'm like, hi, Kat, like, what's going on? And she's like, okay, I'm sure the answer is no, because I told her I didn't want to do TV. She's like, but I just felt the need to bring this opportunity to you. I just got a call and an offer for you to do a show called Special Forces. And I knew immediately what show she was talking about. I hadn't actually watched it. I did go back and watch her season. We'll talk about that.
Oh.
But I hadn't watched it at the time, but I didn't know of it because of Nick Viall being on it, Hannah Brown, people from the Bachelor franchise that I'd like seen their posts about it. And so I knew what it was. And I was just, and you think, oh, well, maybe it took me a minute. I had to think about it. No, I was like, yes, I know what it is. And yes, if you had asked me this maybe a little while ago, I would have said no, but you're now talking to like the midlife crisis version of myself. So that version is in. So I like on the spot said yes.
Okay. And why you said midlife crisis version? What?
Why?
I
think moving out of LA, moving here to Nashville, I wanted a slower life, and I got that. And I don't think I was necessarily prepared for that. So I went from having like this life in TV and going to LA events and just being busy all the time and so much going on. And I mean, I was still like, look, I'm Joe Schmo, but I would go to the what the heck is it called? You go and get food. Not flea market. Farmer's market.
Farmer's market.
Like, what is it called? I can't think of the name. I would like go to the farmer's market and like paparazzi would take my picture. Like I just had like this kind of like crazy life there. And then I moved here and it was like nothing like that. No events, no nothing. Like I work for myself as an influencer from home.
Do you think it was kind of like an identity crisis?
Yes. Like I was like, who am I? Am I just a mom? Like, I'm not trying, just a mom. Being a mom is the greatest gift and best thing of my life. But every mom I think can relate to this. Yeah. Of like feeling lost who am I?
Just that.
Yes. And so I felt a lot of that. Not only did I stop my career in TV, but I went from like being around a lot of people to like, there'd be like weeks would go by and my husband's like, have you seen anybody besides us in a few weeks? And I'm like, I don't even think I've gone outside. Like I just was inside all the time and not seeing a lot of people. So I think I just was like feeling a little down about that. And so I was like, you know what? Like, yes, I want to do it. And I think too, if it was a different show, I might not have been so to say yes, but I knew like the physical aspect of the show. And I'm super competitive. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to get jacked. I'm going to train like nonstop. And I did.
Really? Okay. So when I signed on to do it, it was just like a few weeks before.
I signed on 2 months before.
Yeah. I think mine was 2 weeks before.
So you didn't have much time.
No.
So I had a chunk of time. I worked out 2 to 3 times a day. I did oxygen chambers. I did a 33-degree cold plunge that I bought every single morning. I hired a personal boxer to like teach me how to box 101 because I knew there'd be the milling challenge. I did everything. Like I was so jacked. I could do 100 push-ups in 2 minutes by the time I left for the show.
Dear God.
Yeah. I couldn't even do 10 before that. Like when I started training, I couldn't even do 10. I could do 100. I couldn't do a single pull-up. I could do 5 by the time I left, which is a lot for a female.
It is.
At least from someone who couldn't do any.
This episode of Unlocked is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching car insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns Early. I don't know if you guys remember, but being a kid, learning about money, and all the things that come along with it can be extremely stressful. I'm learning that now. With Chloe and Grayson, raising 2 children is not easy, and teaching them the importance of $1 is extremely important. And that's why I've begun using Acorns Early. It's a smart money app and debit card for kids that helps them learn the value of money. Acorn Early's chores tracker teaches kids that hard work does pay off. You just set up chores in the app, set a payment amount, and tick the chore off when it's done. Acorns Early lets parents pay allowances automatically. No more rummaging around for cash. Kids can also spend what they earn with their very own debit card. And this gives them a little sense of independence, which we know they love, and so do we as parents. Plus, parents can keep track of where and when their kids are spending. Get real-time spend notifications, set your kids' spending limits, and instantly block lost or stolen cards. So, are you ready to help your kids learn the value of money? Just head to acornsearly.com/unlocked or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Again, go to acornsearly.com/unlocked or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled.
Yeah, and so I know this is going to air after,
yes, it's going
right?
to air
Okay.
after.
That's why I'm very, very upset about how my time on the show ended.
So where did the show take place this season?
Okay, so it took place in Wales. So we flew out to...
Why couldn't I have had that one? Oh my gosh. I was in New Zealand.
Freezing cold.
Freezing cold.
I guess the difference is like freezing cold and being bundled up in warm clothes where they change you out. Did they not change you out of...
No.
Oh.
We were
we need to talk about this.
Wet. And we finally had to beg for new stuff. And I think they probably behind the scenes, either insurance or someone got onto them.
That is bad.
Yes.
Because we were wet the entire time, wet, sandy. Our clothes were always completely wet. It was, horrible, as you know. So yeah, it was in Wales. People, because we were wet so much and they just kept us in the ocean, people were dropping like flies with hypothermia. It was...
So what time of year was it? Was it winter there?
No, it was May. May in Wales, the weather is I'd say the temperature was anywhere between 35 and 50 maybe, but we were just constantly in the ocean and in the freezing cold ocean, or in just water in general.
Oh my gosh. So who was on your seat? Well,
just constantly. I was only there till the morning of day 3, but in the time I was there, I was soaking wet the entire time.
So when you went on the show, what were you going into it hoping you would gain from it?
I just wanted to win. I just wanted to prove to myself that I'm really strong and can do anything. And I went in thinking I've got this. I don't know. Did you feel that way when you went?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can do this.
Yeah.
Nobody,
but my business mindset set in, and I got to the point where I was you know what? I was already going through so much stuff in my personal life, not having a phone, it wasn't I had people to take care of my siblings. I had a lot going on. And then I got to the point where I was I'm getting paid the same regardless.
Yeah.
Of whether I stay or I leave. Mm-hmm. If there was a jackpot at the end that was if you make it to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have gone through anything.
Yeah.
I would have won. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't. So I was this is stupid of me. Why am I wasting my time? I could be making more money back home doing what I need to do and call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's different too when you don't have someone to watch your siblings,
yes.
who are you're responsible for them. I knew my kids were with my husband, well taken care of. My mother-in-law flew down from Indiana to be with my husband to help because he goes and does his radio show at 5 a.m. every morning. So we needed someone to take the kids to school. So I think for me, it like truly for me, like, I mean, the paycheck was wonderful.
Yes.
But it wasn't about that. Like for me, it really was like, I'm proving that I can do this. Like, and like my girlfriend got me a ring on the inside. It was subscribed saying, keep effing going. Like I was like, I am not going home. Like short of, so when I busted my finger and they sent me home because I was medically withdrawn, I was like basically like screaming at them, like, I'm like, cut it off. I'm not even kidding. I was like, I don't care. They're like, we are worried you're going to lose full function of your hand if you don't like leave. And I was like, I don't care.
So what happened to your finger?
So on the second day, one of our challenges was to jump backwards off you think of it as bungee jumping, but it's not bungee jumping. I don't think people realize this, even from what you saw. There's no like spring to the rope. Like you see us jump and our bodies go like this, like, because it was like a rope with like maybe a tiny bit of give, but not much. So I had so many issues with gloves on the show. Let me tell you, I feel like I want to burn every glove in my house after the show. The first thing being, I get there in my Bergen, I only had one glove. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in so much trouble. Why is there only one glove in here? I later found out Jordan Weber accidentally grabbed mine and put it in her bag when we first got our bags and changed. Then on the first challenge, we jumped from a moving speedboat to a helicopter. And when I run down to get my gloves from like the, I don't know, safety team, they don't let you check. They just hand them to me and say, go. And then I run to the DS. The DS looks, he goes, why do you have two left-hand gloves? And I was like, are you kidding me? So I had to put two left-hand gloves on, try to jump from a moving speedboat to a helicopter rung. I'm holding on. Most people jumped and got in or jumped and fell pretty much right away. I held on for like 45 seconds because I'm like, I'm getting in this thing, but I eventually couldn't because it was grip on one side of the glove and the other side, because I had to flip it around. The grip was on this side. So it was leather, slippery leather on this side. So it's wet, the water from the oceans, like from the blade going crazy. I'm trying to grab and I kept slipping. And so I got screwed with that glove. And then on the second day, on the thing where we had to jump off the bridge, they gave me these like brown gloves that were way too big. And I remember like looking at them thinking, this is weird. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not, you don't question the DS. Like I was just like, okay, yeah, thanks, staff. And ran to do it. And then I step backwards off the bridge, fall down. And then I realized, and then once we fell back, we had to like unclip all these things and belay down. And I hesitated for a second and they ended up failing me for that reason. But it's because I looked at my hands and my gloves, my fingers had come out of the gloves. And I didn't realize at the time that I was injured. Like one of the staff even asked me, like, are you injured? I'm like, no, staff, I was injured. So my finger fell out of the glove and it started swelling huge right away. And at one point there was like this, almost the way I would describe it would be like a pea-sized steel, like a steel pea underneath my skin. Imagine like a pea, like the one you eat under my skin. I remember being like, what is that? And at first I wasn't going to say anything. And then I was like, you know what? Because you understand this being there. They're always like, you have to protect your other recruits, right? And I was like, okay, well, I'm like, if I don't tell that I have this injury, I'm putting the other recruits in jeopardy, right? If this were a real mission. And so, excuse me. And so I mentioned it to DS and he's like, oh, if you're going to go get a pedicure, would you come bring that? Like, and I was just like, okay, sorry, or a manicure. And so I was like, okay, I tried to tell him. He doesn't want to hear it. I'm out. Yeah. And so then we went and did this like Navy SEAL exercise on the beach where we had to hold these like 100-pound logs over our heads. I was helping other recruits that couldn't do it because I was in such I was at the top of every physical challenge. Like I was like up with the toughest of them. I was helping other like people that couldn't finish. They did the thing where like the waterboarding thing where you like hold the log on your chest and have to go back under the water. Like I did, like at one point, Nathan, this like 6'5" Olympic swimmer was like, Allie, you were pulling me out of the water. Like when I couldn't get up, he's like, you're a beast. I'm like, I trained for this. Like everyone was shaking, getting hypothermia. I like wasn't even that cold because I had trained in 33-degree water every single day for the 2 months before. My body was
God
ready.
Bless you.
And so anyway, I did all that with this injured finger. And then that night at like 2 a.m., because you guys, I mean, we were getting 2 hours of sleep at night.
You don't sleep.
Yeah. And the medic comes in because some people have hypothermia. Trista got hypothermia. A couple other people got hypothermia. Kyla, she was low blood sugar and hypothermia. Like she was laying in bed and like couldn't even know her name. Like we were talking to her and she was like.
And who was this?
Kyla. she is still there on the show now.
Okay.
So all these people getting hypothermia, they're not sending them home.
That is crazy.
Yes. And so I go up, like people pass, like lost consciousness from hypothermia. And I then, it's 2 a.m., I'm just like, I need some ibuprofen. Like my finger is throbbing. It's huge. It's so big. And so the medic comes into the like barracks where we're living, and he doesn't even, like, I don't even go see him. But I was like, can I get some ibuprofen and tape for my finger? And he's like, let me see. And he looks at it and he goes, come with me. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to get like 3 ibuprofens instead of 2. This is awesome. Like I was really excited.
I'm so excited for this.
For ibuprofen. Thank you. And he takes me into his like office and he's like, all right, look, best case scenario, you sprained it. We'll tape you up. You're on your way. He's like, worst case, he's like, and which I think this could be, you either broke it or you ripped your tendon off the bone and I'm going to have to medically withdraw you. And I was like, no. I started like crying, and I am truly not a very emotional person. Like you can ask my husband. I know it sounds weird being like from The Bachelorette where I probably cried a ton, but I'm like pretty, this experience makes you crazy.
Oh, it does.
And so I just like immediately start crying, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. Or I think to him, I was like, okay. He's like, but I'm going to look at it in the morning. And I was like, okay, surely he's not going to send me home in the morning. So I go to bed, or I get out, and immediately they shut all the lights off. Because you know how they like don't let you, they just like shut everything off, and it's like bedtime. It's like whether you're ready or not, lights out. And so then I couldn't even talk to anybody about it. And I was like crying. I like made myself try to go to sleep. Did not even sleep because I was so upset, maybe a little bit. Then they wake us up with like, firecrackers in a barrel. So it sounds like a bomb, and guns are going off in our room. We get up, rush around, get ready. I'm punching down my bag, my Bergen, to like get everything in there with my busted finger, but like going through it. And then we go out to the parade square. And then I think DS Rudy was like, number 4, go to the medic. I go in, the medic wasn't there. He didn't come back to see my hand. I was so upset. And it's because it was 5 a.m. and I don't think his call time was till 7. And my hand, and it was DS Jason, I think. And he goes, you're medically withdrawn. And I was like, are you kidding me? I started punching the table. I hope this is shown. I haven't seen this episode yet. So I was like punching the table, trying to prove to him, I'm fine. And I was like, no. And then I like started accusing him, which was maybe made him very mad, of them trying to get rid of people. Like I was like, no one's really left yet. You're just trying to get rid of me. Because at that point, only Denise Richards, Stephen Baldwin, and then Trista that morning sent herself home, Trista Sutter. And so only 3 people were gone the morning of day 3. And I think they were like, we need more people dropping.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think you guys are trying to get rid of me. Like, I was like, I don't want to go. And he was like, don't you dare. Like he gave me the, you better shut your mouth, girl.
Who else was on your season?
Trista Sutter, Stephen Baldwin, Denise Richards, I don't know everybody's last names. Nathan, the Olympic swimmer. There was Alana, a professional surfer. Brody Jenner. Cam Newton, a football player.
Yep.
Golden Tate, football player. Landon Donovan, a soccer player. There was Miriam, Olympic athlete. Kyla is a Disney, so is Christy Romano. But then Kayla is Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was gonna have like something very, very, very topical, you know.
Who would you say was your favorite person?
I didn't have a favorite.
And then like
person.
your least favorite, like who was someone that was just difficult or...
By the time I left, I don't think we got there yet. Truly, there wasn't really any of that. By the time I left, like, honestly, everybody got along. Like, and from what I heard, maybe there was like a tiny bit of bickering through the season, but I just don't really think... I'll tell you who I was scared of.
Who?
Kayla. I was so afraid to fight her. Like, I was like, because that day, and this is the reason I think the medic sent me home when he did, because I was like, this is ridiculous. This is special forces. Why are you sending me home with a hurt finger? You know what I mean? I think the reason he did.
But it's also in the world of TV. They are like, that's one thing I've realized is like being on TV. I was on TV for 10 years. And so I saw like, they wouldn't even let us ride a scooter without a helmet on because of insurance.
Right. So it's an insurance thing.
It's an insurance thing. It's not even a them thing. It's an insurance thing of, oh my gosh, if this person were to lose their finger, we're the ones that have to answer for it.
Right. Even though the contracts literally say you could die and you can't sue us.
Which is crazy. Yes.
But although I did talk to a lawyer about that and they said that's in there, but that would never hold up in court. So I think it's just more of I think it's in there for them to let you know
how dangerous
what you're signing up for.
All right, y'all, let me tell you about the shoes that have literally changed my life. G-Defy shoes. Between running my businesses and staying active, my feet used to be in constant pain, but not anymore. G-Defy's patented VersoShock technology absorbs all that impact and actually gives energy back with every step. It actually feels like you're walking on clouds. And they're stylish too, which is a must for me. I've been pairing them with leggings and an oversized blazer, and let me tell you, I'm getting compliments left and right. Whether I'm walking into a meeting or just chasing the kids around, G-Defy has me covered. I used to have so many problems with my feet because I wore such uncomfortable shoes, and well, G-Defy has saved the day. It makes running around with the kids extremely enjoyable. If you have a hectic schedule, you might as well make it comfortable. So here's the best part of this whole thing. G-Defy is giving you 50% off orders over $120. Just go to gdefy.com and use promo code UNLOCKED at checkout. Trust me, you'll feel the difference. Again, G-Defy is giving you 50% off orders over $120. Just go to gdefy.com and use promo code UNLOCKED at checkout.
Yeah, so basically what the producer said to me is they're like, we are so sorry that you're leaving. Like, we would let you stay. It's just the way the show is and how dangerous it is. They're like, if we don't listen to the medic, we would lose our insurance. And they're like, if the medic says you have to leave, there's nothing we can do. Like, you have to leave. And so, but anyway, that night they went and fought. They did milling that night. So I think the medic was like, there's no way she can punch somebody with her finger like that. And I will say this. I went to a Wales ER. Free healthcare, by the way. I didn't have to pay a dime.
That's amazing.
I went to a Wales ER. It was not broken. I came back here. I saw a surgeon in Nashville, hand surgeon. My tendon did not get ripped off the bone. It was just a really bad sprain. However, to this day, this knuckle, I can't wear my rings on it anymore because it's so big now and it hurts. Like, if I squeeze this knuckle to this day, it still hurts. So I still would have let them take it.
Probably was good that you came home.
Yeah.
Like, I know during my season, like, we had Tanya Rad on. She was wild. Yeah. Batshit crazy. Like, smuggled in cigarettes and
I love it.
Yeah. So, like, we had people like that and it was the craziest experience. I'm like, when I say cigarettes, like, it was multiple packs.
I mean, we saw in the thing that she had a few of them.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're 65 pounds soaking wet and you think you're going to get away with, like, stacking, like, cigarettes all over your body? It was.
Did you bring any, like, contraband?
No.
I didn't. I was such a rule follower.
I didn't bring anything. Well, my issue was they didn't give me my medication, like my prescribed medication, because I have really bad acid reflux. And so I take medicine every single day. They didn't give it to me. And that's why I puked going face first down the dam.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. And I was so pissed.
Okay.
And I was just like, I've asked you multiple times for this. You haven't given it to me.
Do they let you keep any supplements or anything?
No.
See, they let people in my season keep that stuff, and maybe that's why, because they weren't, like, keeping track of it.
Yeah.
But we could not have ibuprofen. Like, if I had advice to people moving forward, it would be to sneak ibuprofen in.
It would be to sneak ibuprofen in.
Yes. That's my advice. Just sneak in the ibuprofen. You need that pain relief.
That is hilarious.
Sneak it in.
You didn't have, because I know a lot of people go on the show that are, like, working through some really deep trauma.
Yeah.
And, like, did you have any of those breakdown moments of something like that or no?
I didn't even get interrogated on the show. Like, that's how quick I was gone. I mean, I could have been, but I talked to DSQ after the show and he was actually, like, really cool about it. He's like, we didn't think you were going anytime soon. Yeah. Like, there was no reason to interrogate you because we thought you were going to be around. Like, he's like, I truly thought you'd be there till, like, the final days. So no, I didn't really get to, I mean, I'm sure there's buried stuff deep down somewhere I can get into, but not for me. I am so mad about having to leave. Like, I want to go back. Would you do it again?
I've said I wish they would do, like, a reunion season of bringing different people from different seasons together.
Redemption.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I would 100% do it.
Yeah.
100%.
It's so interesting because when we did the reunion episode in LA, we filmed it recently, like most of the cast on my season said they would not.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
I would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because now I know what to expect. I know.
But it's almost like it'd be harder to go back. Like, I think I'd be scared. Like, this time I was like excited.
Yes.
This time I'd be scared. Like, I'd go in like, oh gosh, I know what I'm getting into now. Like, now I'm scared. But yeah, I'd go back too. Let's do it. Let's fight them.
Hey, I'm all
back
for
in
it.
there.
Literally, I'm all for it. Yeah. That would be awesome. So now, have your kids watched it?
No. I don't know if I'm going to show it to them yet. I haven't seen any of it yet. I'm going to watch it. I know that it's aired. I'm going to watch it. But my daughter has seen the promo, and she basically looked at me and goes, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "You said you weren't doing anything dangerous." She's like, "You are never going back there." Like, because I told her, like, when I left, I'm like, "I'm going. Don't worry, I'm safe. Like, there's nothing dangerous that I'm doing." Because from what I had heard from everybody is it's scary, but you always feel safe.
Yeah.
I didn't feel safe.
Really?
And not for everything. Like the helicopter thing, I felt safe. The bungee jumping thing, I knew it wasn't going to like snap. Like I felt safe. But we did this one thing, end of episode 1, end of night 1, called the Beehive, where they put us in a pool. This is the best way to describe it. The pool is probably like 14 feet deep, above ground pool, right?
Yep.
Black lining. It was 11 p.m. They walk us up this, deck up to the top. They make us jump in. It's freezing. Everyone immediately starts going because it's so cold. But again, I did all the cold plunge training, so I was hoping for something like on your guys' season where they made you go on the ice. I'm like, I've done this every day.
Awful.
Yeah. See, I did that literally every morning. My ice plunge was literally so cold it was on the verge of solid ice. My cold plunge.
Yeah. No.
But so I was ready for that. But so we all jump in and they made us tread water next to each other, but they made us come into the middle where DSQ was. So imagine you're treading water in your boots, in your thing, in freezing cold water, but 6'5", 250-pound Cam Newton's next to you and grabs you and pulls you under, and you're trying to get up. Everyone was panicking. People were screaming, "I'm drowning! I'm drowning!" I thought I was gonna die. Like, and I literally, I remember being like, "How did someone not die?" Because we're all in the middle in this tight space. He's making get in, and people are pulling you down, pulling you under, where you're gasping. You're gasping for air. And you keep getting pulled under the water.
Like, how long did that last?
I don't know. It could have been 15 minutes. It could have been 45 minutes. Like, at least the swimming part. Then they had us go on the edge and like dunk ourselves back under the water, like put our legs over the edge of the pool and like dunk ourselves back under and come up. Like that I could have done all day. Because everyone else was like chattering, like freezing, but I, again, wasn't, because I trained for it. Your body can prepare for something like that. And so, but the treading water in the middle, there was only 5 people who stayed in the middle the entire time. Everyone else like went to the edges. It was me, Nathan, who's the Olympic swimmer. And I want to give him a shout out in a second because I owe my staying in the middle to him. Alana, who's the Olympics or the professional surfer, Brody Jenner, who's basically a professional surfer. He surfs all the time. And then Christy Romano, who kicked so hard, she kicked her boot off. And I think that's like probably helped her stay up because she didn't have the weight of the boots.
Yes.
Because one of her boots got kicked off. But me, that's it. Like, because like, I was in the best physical shape of my life. I trained, but Nathan, I owe this to him so much. He was like, Allie, because I kept going under. I'm like, I'm going to drown. I said to him, I'm going to drown. And he was like, keep your lungs full of air. And I was like, okay. He's like, take a deep breath and then blow it out as fast as you can and take a deep breath. Like, because he's an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah,
he was just kind of, and so what I did is I took a huge breath and I blew it out as fast as I could and then do it again, because you physically can't drown when your lungs are full of air.
Interesting.
And so he helped me get through that. I don't know I would have gotten through that if it wasn't for him coaching me through that.
So that was your moment. You were like, I do not feel safe.
I didn't feel safe. And DS Rudy was below, like scuba diving, like to see if anyone was down there. But it was a black liner and there was 16 of us at that time because it was the first day. 16 of us in this tiny little space. I'm like, if Cam Newton pulled me and brought me down and was panicking, DS Rudy's not going to be able to get Cam Newton off of me underwater. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Cam was panicking, you know? Like I was talking to Golden Tate this morning, and he said the same thing. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I don't belong in water.
I don't belong in water. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
So overall, though, you were happy you did it. Your experience was great.
So happy. Love the producer. I talked to producers on the show,
Yeah.
but like before and after, loved the producers, loved the experience. I think that the DS are incredible. I have so much respect for them. Yeah, I think it's, I feel like this experience is so cool that they should like offer an adult experience where you can like pay to go do a version of that.
Because you can learn a lot about yourself throughout the experience.
And just see what you're made of. And it also like, when I got back, I feel like for a while, I really just looked at life differently and the problems that like my friends would even talk about. I'm like, that's not a problem.
No.
I mean, now I'm back to like, this is a problem.
It's very short-lived.
It's short-lived.
It's very short-lived.
But I feel like for a while, I was just so appreciative for like the new outlook on life I had, where I just didn't feel like my problems were big problems anymore. And like, I looked at life so differently. And I think that's such a blessing that like, I'd give anything to do it again. Like I'd pay them to let me do it again at this point.
I would do it again. Yeah. Maybe we'll do it again together.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah. I'd love it.
So what's next?
The next season of Special Forces. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that if I want to get back in TV. I know that I don't want to necessarily keep doing what I'm doing. Like I work on Instagram. That's my thing. Go follow me. I want to do something more, and I don't know
what that is yet.
What it is yet. I definitely want to do more charity stuff, but I also need to support my family and make a living too. So I want to do both.
Right.
Both. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, where can people follow you to keep up with you, your story, and see what's next?
On Instagram, Ali.Manno, Manno, and then Allie's ALI. Yeah.
And don't forget, tune in to Special Forces.
Special Forces.
See how it all goes down. You can go back and watch my season. It was brutal.
So good.
And I would have stayed in if there was a jackpot money pot at the end.
Let's have them have that for the redemption season.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.